Previously on J-Talkshow.
For the topic or for the heading that is said, are you for or you are against? Are you for the youth or you are against the youth in participation in political stuffs?
I think it is important for everyone to participate in politics because as we all belong to a particular jurisdiction, or let's say in a country, or you find yourself in a community where you need to share your ideas or you need to decide on something. I think it is important that everybody, including the youth.
Yeah, I think from 18 years you're legally a youth. To participate in certain things, politics, came to get your driver's license, and so. But I think where the debate is where it actually ends.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So as he said, 35, I think, yeah, about 35, 40.
Yeah. The old men, they have to take their bags and leave the parliament. We need the youth in those positions. We need the youth to take up those positions.
I don't necessarily think the youth are going to make a dramatic change. I believe in politics, it all has to do with the structure. If the structure is not right, irrespective of your age or who you are, your personality, if you go in there, you conform to the system and to the structure.
All that I would like to add to this is that I don't think it really depends on the youth or the old people. Exactly. Okay. If you can do the job, or if let's say this particular job a youth can do it well, let's give it to the youth. If the elder or the old ones can also do the job well, we should give it to them. So I think it is I don't think the youth are going to like massively change everything. Yeah, because they can also get corrupt. They can also do the stuff that the old ones are doing. The older ones are also doing. Yeah.
All right, guys. So you've heard it all. I mean, some of you still disagree. Today we have two people in our midst and they all agree on the same thing, unfortunately. But some of you may still disagree. Please put your comments below. Tell us what you think. If you still insist that the youth are supposed to enter into the political arena, we would want to know. All right. So wrapping up, we want to ask a question. You made mention of from the structure, you talked about the systems, and then now we go to a place where you were talking about becoming a president and like the system that are normally put in place to become a president. We realize that I don't know for what happens in the Western culture, but in Africa, before someone becomes a president, the amount of money they would lose, the amount of money they will lose, the things they will buy for the people before they become a president is very huge. So, do you think that there could be a day that will come in the history of Africa where a president will spend less to become a president, which can reduce the corruption? Because if you paid more to get to the position, then you would loot more to pay what you lost. And then you keep on looting for your family. So what do you think? Do you think there could be a day in the history of Africa coming? And if so, how do you think that we can achieve that?
To be honest, I'm pessimistic about Africa. In terms of the process of getting people to power, the cost, enormous cost. In Nigeria, for example, the last presidential election that happened in February, each political party, the ticket was over 100 million naira. Wow. Looking at over 2 million dirhams and say $200,000. Just to pick an interest for presidency. And tell me how many youths have $200,000 sitting down, in their account, waiting to pick up a phone. So I'm really pessimistic about the cost of running for presidency in Africa going down, just for the simple fact that the party system we practice in Africa, I honestly am of the opinion is really not suitable for our cultural system. Why do I say that? I'll expatiate on that. In Africa, we are multicultural, multi-religious people.
Yeah.
In most countries. For example, in Nigeria, there are so many tribes, so many religions. And most times, most of these political parties are built not behind ideologies like in the West, such as the Democrats and Republicans, the left wing and the right wing. These people are built behind ideas and say policies. So if we talk of Republicans, we know their policies. If we talk of Democrats, we know. But when we come to political parties in Africa, they are built behind either ethnic group, either religious group, religious affiliation. So a particular political group, you know where it links towards. You know that this political group belongs to this kind of people. You know this group. So therefore, it's going to be difficult for those political parties to be able to objectively, bring down the cost of this process, because everybody is trying to look for the interest of their own group, their own religion, their own ethnic group. And objective is okay. No, this is a young man. This is somebody that wants to come in. He has his policies. He thinks like us. No, they don't. That doesn't matter to them. What matters to them is that you are from our place. You speak the same language.
Religion.
So there will be a lot of hurdles you have to cross, and those hurdles meaning financial hurdles. To get to that place. So you have to, bribe a lot of people. And when we even look at the selection process, or I call it selection. I don't think it's an election. Selection process.
The selection process.
Selection process to get a political ticket from your political party. At the end of the day, when we come into general election, we are left to pick between the devil and the blue sea. So these are the worst of the candidates they present to us. So it's who has the more money, the more influence, that can be able to pick up the ticket from the political party.
Okay.
So they will bring delegates who are appointed by the political party, and these delegates, they are appointed officially. They are appointed. So we appoint you, or so to say, elected from their regions. And basically these are just appointments. And those delegates are the ones that are saddled with responsibility to conduct the elections in the primaries of these political parties, to bring out a candidate for these parties. So that whole system is flawed. That whole system, whoever comes out of that system, most of the time, is not the best for us. So they present these candidates out of so many political parties, and we are left to choose out of the worst. So I think that system should be scrapped. To me, in my own opinion, I think, for even in as much as it's going to cost money, but I feel the primary election should be done in a general way. Political parties that want to conduct election, from your region, it should be a general election in that region, not just few delegates who are appointed. So if that political party is a regional political party from maybe say the southern region or whatever, there should be an election in the southern region. If there are 50 people that show interest, they should come out, they should canvass for votes, people should vote, and those people should now be able to want to pick the ticket from the primary level before they go up to the general level to conduct an election. Yes, to cost more money, but that's the only way we can really see the true people that will come out, because most times these political parties have been hijacked by cabals and people in high places, and they will only give their blessing and the tickets to those who they want, who they feel will protect their interests and still let them to be able to control the country through proxy. So we have presidents, we have ministers, but those people are controlled by proxy. Those people are just figureheads, but the real people who run the games are behind the scene.
Wow.
Yes. So to me, if that system is not scrapped, and we don't reform, we don't change our ideology behind political parties to be ideology based rather than ethnicity and religious based, I don't see the money coming down. People keep, inflating the price for you to get. So the highest wins. It's a bidding war, so to say. Yeah.
And then when the person also gets to that position, he's made to retrieve all that he lost.
Exactly. Retrieve all that he lost. And most of the time, most people that go for this political party don't actually have the money to go for it. So they make promises. They make promises. So when they get there, they now have to compensate the people who they made the promises to. So give them positions, give them, and allow them to steal and turn a blind eye because, you let me get there. So I promise you when I get there, I'll give you this position so you can steal and recover your investment.
Wow. Wow. You wanted to add something.
Yeah.
Do you support what he's saying? What do you think about it?
I think Nonso has said everything, and it's true. The corruption begins from that stage,
From the delegates stage.
Yes, because some delegates will vote for you when you give them something, okay, and some others to, because of the filing fee that you mentioned earlier. Let's say if a candidate is expected to pay about $10,000, he or she knows that he can be able to work, but then because of the $10,000 he's supposed to get to buy the tickets, he's going to promise some people, as he said.
I think he said $200,000.
That was for Nigerian last election.
Maybe
$200,000.
The person will be forced to seek for favors from these rich people, businessmen. And when you win the election, you need to also pay back because they invested in you by giving you their money to buy the ticket, to go on campaign tours, to bribe the delegates. Okay. So I think that is where the corruption actually begins. And if we want to pick away or reduce corruption, then we also need to focus on these trivial stuffs.
Wow. So right now we are finding out that it is not just they being or they wanting to be correct, but the situation or the system through which they became, whoever they are, make them either throw an eye, a blind eye on, a corrupt system, or they themselves engage in it to retrieve whatever they lost. I think that then we have a long way to go as Africans.
Yeah, we do.
We have a very long way to go because how are we going to develop the nation if that is going to be the system throughout? How is it going to be possible?
It's the mentality. If you have the mentality or you have the mindset that, for me, I don't want to be corrupt, or you have.
But that is exactly what Nonso is saying, that the structure is put in a way that you would have to pay before you get there. So
exactly.
Even if I'm a person that I'm not corrupt, like what he said, they leave it for the worst just because the person has money. So if I don't want to be corrupt, if I want to be clean, then I'm never going to get there.
Exactly.
That's how the system is like, because you have to pay before you get there. And those people who, you said they are the leaders, or they are outside, or they are behind the scenes. They are looking for their interests, so they will only support those who are also for them. Exactly.
Well,
those that will let them steal from the system.
So I remember there was a day, and you were there, right? I went someplace and I was debating with them. I said, I will never be corrupt. No. I will get there and I'll not be corrupt.
You will never get there.
I'll never.
Yeah.
I think we had
there are people,
3 hours.
There are people that will work overtime to make sure you don't get there.
I'm telling you. Hey. It's difficult.
It is. Because the system will surely fight back.
How is Africa? Because I kind of wonder, if there could be a day that, I believe maybe the next topic that we'll talk about is, what's the name? The contribution of the youth to national development? Because this time maybe we are talking about, okay, are they competent? Are we competent? Is the youth doing anything extra? Is the old people doing anything extra? But I believe that the next topic that we have to talk about is the contribution of the youth to national development. Because when these people are going for the vote, who votes for them?
Youth.
The youth. So I believe that you can still use all those crews to come up, but if the youth don't want you, you will not be the president. And most of the youth, they have taken some things, some cash.
To add to what you just said, the past election that happened in Nigeria in February 25th is a typical example of, the youth not actually realizing the power they have. And those that realize, the percentage of those that realize being suppressed by the system. So the youths came out in mass, to vote someone they felt this was their person and all. And the system, when I mean the system, those in power, use the armed forces, the police, the army to brutalize the same youths and steal the mandate from them. Wow. You get? So there's a lot of out. So it's not as easy as come out, vote, your vote will count. It's not as easy as that. And you take power and you become a good person and a good leader. It's not as easy as that, because those who are benefiting from the status quo, from the damaged system, they have money. They have the control of the armed forces. They have the control of the media, the narrative of the media. So these three things basically what change the narrative and what they shape reality, so to say. So if you come out too aggressive as a youth, you want to change the system, they tag you rioters, they tag you terrorists, they tag you anarchists. They change the narrative. And once they give you that tag as a youth who is just going out peacefully to protest, maybe a little bit more aggressive, but not being violent, but just trying to get your voice out there and stuff. They tag you all sort of names, and when they tag you these names, now they can unleash the security on you and suppress you, disenfranchise you during the voting system. You can't vote. They say no, people are rioters, people are trying to disturb the system, and they lock you up. And so it's not as easy as the youth wake up, people are march, go and vote. No, it's not as easy as that. And we saw that play out in the February election, because the youth decided, okay, enough is enough. Let's come out and vote. Let's trust the system. And the system hits them back.
Wow.
Yeah, hit them back.
Wow.
And they are actually stunned right now.
Wow. Let's keep having the hope. Let's keep having the hope for Africa, because I believe it's true that certain developments does not count. I mean, the parliament does not count in certain things, or let's say the government does not count in certain things. But I believe that for a nation to be well developed, it's, I think, maybe 70% or 60 something percent is from the government, from the arms, all the three arms of government. And so if we are having this, things going on, especially from the scratch or from the bottom to the highest, then I'm sure that we are never going to get there. And that is why we need to know how we, the youth, can play a role in stopping this. It might not just be from from the civilian aspect, but also from the military aspect.
Exactly.
You understand? So there's supposed to be a system where the youth will rise against, corruption, or the youth can have a voice, in some one or two things. But as we said earlier, these same youth that we are addressing, not everybody is for good. There are some people who are really waiting, because there are some it just doesn't happen. Exactly. We are tired. I'm tired.
Exactly. They are going to come with the system of divide and rule. They are going to, once they see the youth united, they're going to pick out few out of you guys. Mm-hmm. They are going to give them money. They're going to try to persuade them to turn against you, to fish out those who are the leaders in the youth, and try to bribe them. If they can't bribe you, make an example of you, put you behind bars or kill you or something. So they always find a way. There will be always Judases in the youths to be willing tools to these politicians, to these old people, to make use of them to divide the youth, to destabilize the youth. So it's difficult to have 100% united youth front, and that's what you need. A good percentage of the youth to be united to be able to uphold the system. It's actually easy to, when you look at it from this aspect, it's actually, if you look at the Arab Spring, what happened during the Arab Spring, that's why I really admire the Arab race. They are a very unique race of people. Once they believe in something, they go all out for it. During the uprising, the Arab race, and they decided that no, these leaders that have been terrorizing our country, that have been bringing bad government, no, they must go. Nothing. They were out there on the street. They didn't let the government use anyone. Even those that came in between them, they made sure that they went after you, and they stood their ground. So if we, the youth in Africa, we can stand our ground and say, if there are elements within us that will be used, which certainly will be used against you, if those elements come, we'll fight them. We'll fight the people that are sending them, and we'll stand our ground, no matter how long it takes. We're not going to compromise. We're not going to let them to sweet talk, or we're not going to let them to say, okay, go. What happens necessarily is, when the youths come out to protest, when the youths come out to allay their suffering and their pain, to kind of voice out, these people in power tell you, go through the system. Go through the system, go to court if you agree. Join politics, vote. Your vote will count. Knowing fully well that they control the system. Knowing fully well that if you go to court, you will not necessarily get justice in court. Because, let me give you an example. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, for example, is appointed by the president. So the president appoints the Chief Justice, sends his name to the Senate for confirmation, which is basically a rubber stamp Senate, which just gives what the president says. They would need to no resistance, because the president's party is actually the majority party there. So the majority will get their way. And this same Chief Justice of the Federation, who is being appointed by the country, appoints the justices of the Supreme Court, which is the highest court of the land.
Wow.
Yeah. So he approves and appoints the Chief Justice of the Federation. And this Chief Justice of the Federation, these Supreme Court justices are the ones that presides over high value cases, such as when there's a dispute between who won an election and stuff, and comes to now tell me, if I appoint a Chief Justice, that Chief Justice appoints the judges. Basically, I can appoint my friend, someone I trust, who will appoint those who you trust. So then you expect the government to have rigged the election. Then you expect to go to these same judges that have been appointed by the Chief Justice, who's appointed by the president, to give you justice. Come on, you're in La La Land. I'm telling you.
It's perfectly true, because I think in Ghana it's the same thing.
In Ghana too, there are a group of youths that are rising up to demand that there should be a change in the constitution, so that the president will not have that
power to appoint the Chief Justice.
Because it's not right. If the president does anything, who is going to prosecute him or something like that? Obviously, that I believe is supposed to be changed. The constitution, I don't know, but I think something's supposed to be done about the constitution.
I think they should be, maybe the in Nigeria, I think they have the Bar Association of Nigeria, Lawyers Association or something, the Nigerian Bar Association. I feel the Chief Justice should be elected by the lawyers themselves. I believe, as far as you are a lawyer, you have your license, there should be a general election in the country where all lawyers come and they vote certain candidates to be the Chief Justice. I don't think the president should have a say in that. I think this should be the law, in this, that should have a say in who becomes the Chief Justice. That's what I feel.
Well, if not, we'll keep on experiencing injustice, experiencing, embezzlement, and nobody is going to, counter-attack it.
And I think it's not only because we believe that the president appointing these judges will favor the political party, but you see, sometimes even when the judges give the right verdicts, the opposition party can say that, oh, these judges gave this particular verdict because they belong to, they were appointed by the president. So I feel like it is also this is another reason why they should be voted for, maybe by the lawyers as he suggested, or the group of judges or something like that for the Supreme Court cases, so that it's not look as if it is because
there will be questioning everywhere.
Exactly.
Whether they give the right verdict or the wrong verdict.
Yes. So
yes,
because in Ghana it's happening a lot. You know, when it doesn't go in favor of some a political party, they'll be like, okay, it's because they are appointed by the president, and if it goes in their favor, you know, so. You know,
I believe it's true. It's true. We have to find a way of, electing this, these people in positions, because if not, we will keep on having this injustice. All right, viewers. It seems we are really, diverting small, but we are still on the matter. We are still on the matter about the youth, the contribution of the youth. Like, would the youth really make a difference, in the political arena or in national development? Okay, so this is the last that I want to say. Then we'll build on it in the next time that we meet again. Aside politics, because national development is a broad thing, So if you talk about national development and the youth, aside politics, through which the youth can really, do best for nation development, what other arena or what other perspective do you think the youth can, come from in order to contribute to national development, especially in Africa? What are the channels through which maybe the youth can also use in order to contribute highly to the small percentage that is left for national development?
Okay. So I think entrepreneurship should be one of them. Yes.
He's right. I think entrepreneurship is one of the sectors whereby, young people can impact into the national development of a country. Starting your own business, employing other people. That's a massive way youth can be effective. Because there are so many opportunities in Africa right now, in the agricultural sector, in science and technology sector, in innovations. So there are so many these are the sectors whereby young people who can be self-employed, start businesses, employ their fellow youths, and be able to impact into their immediate society and the country at large. It's actually, in my own opinion, the most effective way for the youth to impact even better than in politics. Yes, I feel so. Okay. I feel if the youth can control the economy of the country, if the youth can control the business of the country, they can actually control the indirectly the way the country will head, the road to which the country will be heading to, whether it will head into a positive direction or into a negative direction. So control the economy, control the business world, invest, employ people, lift people out of poverty. That way, yes, the policies of the government can and may affect you, but if you can, be self-employed to a little extent, most of the policies of government may have nothing or little to do with you. You'll be able to try.
We also have another, maybe next 2 years, the policies that infringe, on maybe a young entrepreneur, or, because from what you're saying, I realize that yes, it's true. If you control the economy, then indirectly you may have the constitution might not even, we know that the constitution is there, but you might control the country in a way.
Exactly.
So I think that is so. But then, as you said, there are some policies that are very, very difficult. Especially for young entrepreneurs who are just coming up, which is not favorable for them. Yeah. So what other ways accept entrepreneur? Because not everyone would, go into, this entrepreneurship. Or I think there was a day you said that the business place is not for everyone.
Exactly. I believe so too.
It's not for everyone. you said the same thing. The business place is not for everyone. It's for some, some blessed people. I mean, like yourselves. So, those people that don't have that business, blood in them, what are some of the petty things that they can also do, for nations, development? I believe that this topic we have to really discuss it again, like really, really, again, because we have that direct part and then we have the indirect part, like the common floor member, in the village, or let's say the common floor member, working in the government, institutes like civil servants and stuff like that. I believe everybody has a role to play, for this national development thing, because it does not, the investment is not from only the government or people in political, places. You could realize that even people that are just market people or whatever, they are all, involved in certain things, one way or the other, that is affecting indirectly the economy of the nation. So I believe that there are other ways that we can use. If you still have some point, then you can lay them. If not,
as he rightly said, entrepreneurship. So, and another way that I believe that the youth can also indirectly help in the national development is by supporting their fellow youth, as he said, in entrepreneurship. So, if, for example, you are blessed with money and your fellow youth has ideas on how to maybe establish a business or stuff like that, you can also support. You come together and support each other. You can control the economy of the country. And trust me, sometimes the government can even come for loans from you.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Nigeria
has some loans from
Dangote. Yeah. So if you're able, if the youth is able to control the economy of the country,
imagine Ghana we IMF will 2 billion.
3 billion.
$3 billion.
Dollars, yeah. Dangote is half an hour.
It's like 20 billion or something.
Yeah.
And then so
Let's not say it. Yeah. So just imagine. Yeah. So just imagine a youth in Ghana, or youths in Ghana have that amount of money. The government wouldn't have to go to IMF. They'll come to you.
Obviously.
And yeah.
Obviously. But I think it will also take time, But so we are talking, like from what you are saying, we have roles in the, in the lower class, even the lower class, and then the upper class. Because if, let's say, I have money, I can have money without being rich, like without being wealthy. And then I can help the lower class, people that are coming up.
Those with ideas.
Those with ideas, so as, when I'm there also, when someone is also there, wealthy, like, the likes of, the billionaires in our countries or millionaires in our countries, they also supporting their fellow, millionaires or their fellow people that are also coming up with great, ideas and stuff. Let me give you an example. Like in my country, we have, Ken Japan, Honorable Ken Japan, who has come up with some ideas, stuff like that. I believe that amount of money he's seeking for is not, the one that you are going to help, somebody that is coming, for small ideas. This one comes with, so his fellow billionaires or his fellow millionaires, if you not being greedy, you can also, invest into it and in a way help employment and stuff for the nation development. Wow. This topic, there's a lot to this, in Africa, the national development, there's a lot to it. And, it doesn't only, from talking to you guys, I realized that it doesn't only, focuses on corruption. It doesn't only, it's not just because of corruption, but it's for other reasons also, And I believe we'll have time to talk about all these things, the contributions of the youth to national development, and also some of the policies that are supposed to be changed, for the youth to be able to have a smooth way in their entrepreneurship, pathway. And so thank you very much, guys, for honoring the invitation for today. And for the last statements, let's go back for the sake of our viewers, let's talk about the topic, about will the youth make any difference? Will the youth make any difference? In their, maybe in the political arena, or in parliament, or in executive, or wherever they find themselves. Do you think, like just a statement, do you think, if no, you give a reason? If why, you give a reason? This is the last submission for us to close for today. Guys, if you have any, other views concerning what we have said today, you can put your comments in the section below, and we are going to take it. We are going to discuss whatever submission you bring. So, starting from you, anybody that's ready,
Okay.
you can go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as we earlier agreed, it is important for the youth to participate in politics for national development. And this is because it is our civil rights and also our legal rights. Yeah. So, back to the question that you said, would there be any difference?
Yeah, would they make any contribution?
Yes. Yeah, I believe that everybody has their quota or contribution to make to the development of a country, and that's the same way the youth also have their quota to contribute to the development of the nation. So there being a change when they are in the position, I believe that it's not going to be there's not going to be that much of a difference, depending on the individual that is occupying that particular position. If the person wants to be corrupt, yes, he's going to be corrupt, whether an elderly person or a person is a youth, however it is. Yeah, so it's more of is there opportunity for the youth to be able to participate in politics?
Okay.
Yeah, so does our system make it easy for the youth to participate in politics? I think we should also look at it from
Yeah, because I think even most of the staffs restrict the youth, like the president and stuff like that, to be a president, and in that manner. Odogu, your last submission concerning this, I think there's even a question that came, but you should just bring to the last submission and see.
I know. I don't think the youth will make much of a difference. Yeah, I don't think so.
You are direct too.
Yeah, I don't think so, because the structure and the system supersedes the individual. If the system and the structure that gets that youth into politics is corrupt, no matter the effort, the little effort the youth is going to make is going to be infinitesimal to the overall picture of the politics in the country. So if there's after 50 ministers, and let's assume two youth ministers are doing well, and they are not corrupt, it's not going to make any difference if all the other 50 ministers are corrupt. So, and the system lets them to be corrupt and they get away with the corruption. Yeah. So it's not going to make any difference if two ministers are just right and doing the right thing. So it has to be, for the youth to make any difference, the system has to change. The system of corruption, of rewarding corrupt people, of getting away with corruption with no punishment, of our cultural system of welcoming corrupt people with inexplicable wealth and giving them titles, and even praying for them in church. You know that this man, he had nothing, or basically has no job, and he becomes a minister, and all of a sudden he buys a car worth millions of naira and brings it to church for blessing, and you are blessing it, and you as a priest, as a pastor, and you're telling God, may God multiply where it came from.
We'll talk about that also.
Obviously. Exactly. And you are praying to God to multiply where it came from.
Yeah. The indirect rule of the
churches.
In
exactly our society. Exactly. Such people come to our communities, and they are giving chieftaincy titles, and they are made royal fathers and son of the source. Yeah. Those things should be frowned upon. Exactly. If we don't know where your source of money comes from, if we don't know feasible business, we know you 3 months from now, there's no feasible, we should call you a thief. you should be chastised from the society.
Yeah,
The previous culture we had should be reinstated, and we should also value ourselves. We should see ourselves, because you should also know that the problem of Africa is not just Africa.
Yeah.
There are external forces in the Western world who benefit from the status quo of Africa. And those people want Africa to keep having shitty leaders that don't want the best for Africa, leaders that are going to let them come in, take our resources at near free prices, exploit Africa and just, manufacture goods and dump them in Africa, inferior goods. So those foreign powers too are involved. And so if we don't, as leaders or as young people, value ourselves more to say that no, we deserve better, and we don't have to let those external factors influence, our leadership and our system, then, we will not be able to make any difference. No amount of youth will make any difference.
Wow. No amount of youth will make any difference. And that is all for today. So from today, guys, the question was, will the youth make any difference in politics or in the political arena when allowed, when given the opportunity? And our brother Nicholas was more focused on the fact that, there is no even much chances for the youth for us to even start talking about would they even make a difference, because even to become a president, to become somebody in certain positions, you may have to undergo, some stages, and before you get there, you are already old. So, the constitution, do not give that much, way for the youth, to really be in those positions. And our brother Odogu was also for the fact that, even when, these opportunities has been given already, constitutions have been changed and stuff like that, the current systems in our countries, the current, structure, is not favorable. It's what corrupts, the youth. And so if the structure is not changed, and no matter who you are, when you get into the position, either you become corrupted yourself, or your contributions will end up being decimals,
Exactly.
So the structure must be changed. And I think maybe we'll talk about, how we can all help as youth to influence on these structural changes. Thank you very much for joining us today. And before I say see you next week, I don't know if they have any greetings. If you have any shout outs to your loved ones, what do you want to say?
I want to encourage all the youths out there,
Okay.
Who have genuine desire to make a change in their country or in the continent of Africa, not to give up, not to give up hope, to pursue their dreams. Don't let anyone tell you that your dream is too big. If you have any business idea, if you have any dream out there, be it your parents, be it your siblings, be it anybody, don't let anybody to tell you that dream is too big, that you can't achieve it. Do your groundwork, know what it requires, know the skills you require to get there, acquire those skills, learn the knowledge you need to learn to achieve those things, and keep pushing, and you'll get there one day.
Okay, so for me, I would like to encourage the youth that wherever we find ourselves currently, in our various associations, let us challenge ourselves to hold leadership positions and also engage in leadership programs. When there's an opportunity for you to hold any leadership position, start from there. And I believe that with consistency and hard work, we will, by God's grace, also hold the big positions in our various countries. Yeah.
If you stay with them, it's recording. Have you seen it? All right. Have you seen some what's the name? Some, like I could say 0 seconds, like some seconds it's reading. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today in the studio, Odogu and Nicholas. The studio is very much grateful. Thank you for your last words. And I believe that the youth are going to take note of everything that we've said today. Thank you guys also for joining us for today. And I would invite you to please like, share to other friends, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also comment. I believe all your comments, will be reviewed and talked about. And also do well to reach out if you have a contribution, if you have a question, if you have anything you want to do for this program. And thank you so much for today. See you guys next week, same channel. Bye bye.